What's up, guys? New setup. Talk about that some other time. Also, it's been a while. Hope you guys have been well. Things have been a little crazy over here, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking today about these bad boys. The Zhongyi Mitakon Speedmasters. These are Zhongyi's budget cinema lenses. Zhongyi sent me the bundle, their cinema bundle, and I can say whatever I want and give my honest opinion on them. So everything you're gonna hear today, that's how I actually feel and the truth about them. I've been lucky enough to shoot with them for the last several weeks on some real shoots and tons of test footage I did. So yeah, let's take a look at these awesome budget cine lenses.
To the floor, to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in, then break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. I know, been a bed. Break you in, then. It is every day.
Okay, so first off, I got the RF mount for my red Komodo. These are for Super 35 sensors, so it's perfect for the Komodo and any other Super 35s. And I believe they have a 80mm front diameter for all your filters and like matte box stuff you want to throw on there. So the first thing I want to get out of the way is the price of these lenses. They are actual budget cinema lenses. They are not $5,000 each. They're $500 each. And you can get all three in a bundle with a carrying case that is like really nice, which is what I pulled out earlier. And you can get all that for $1,400. That is a real budget lens to me. And that might make you concerned that they're so cheap, but let's get into the first thing, which is build quality. These are not cheaply made. They don't feel cheap. They're super heavy in a good way. And they're all metal except for the gears on the side there for the focus pulling, and that's a good sign. So they've got that right. So the other notable thing on the build quality was the focus ring. It's very stiff, very solid, which is a good thing when you've got a focus puller and everything like that, and a motor that's like, you know, made for it. But it can be stiff if you're trying to pull focus on yourself. Just a note that I had, not necessarily like positive or negative. It's just, you know, you shouldn't be pulling focus on your own anyway. So overall, very impressive for $500. Equal build quality to any other high-end lens I've ever used. So the next thing I want to get into is the sharpness and color rendition of these things. First off, the sharpness is pretty sharp. It's not the sharpest lens I've ever seen, but you know, it's not all about sharpness. Cine lenses aren't always sharper. They are just higher quality. Image rendition with like colors and flaring and things like that, whether you want them or not. For instance, the DZO zoom lenses that I use all the time are very sharp. They have a little bit of a stylistic look to them, some more characteristic, I feel like, but they're very, very crisp and sharp lenses. So nothing to worry about. Definitely, you know, very good sharpness. As far as color rendition, I didn't notice anything big or crazy. There is a little bit of a difference between the lenses. With my naked eye, I didn't notice a huge problem, nothing that can't be fixed in post anyway. The flaring is a little muddled. I feel like sometimes it gives, I don't know, it's a little bit like of a grainy looking, just not clean flare, I guess. It's not super smooth and beautiful every time. Here's some flares from the Zeiss CP3 lenses, and you can just tell it's a little bit just, I don't know, cleaner, more high quality, just looks better. The flares just look so good and smooth, and I don't know what it is. And these lenses just don't give the same kind of flares. It does get kind of a really cool, like warm flaring when you hit the sun just the right angle, but sometimes you get this like ugly kind of flaring. So you have to really kind of work your angles, and it does flare a lot. So that can be a good thing. It can be very cool and stylistic, but it's not always the look you're going for. So keep that in mind. The next great thing about these lenses is the low T-stop. They go down to T1, guys. That is insanely low, almost unusable unless you really know what you're doing. You get some crazy chromatic aberration around the edges, and it's not like the good kind of chromatic aberration. It's, you know, it's a little rough. It's not like the stylistic stuff that you would kind of like maybe want for a, you know, a heavy styled music video or something like that. I mean, you could get away with it if you're trying to do something like this, but that's a really specific look and feel, and we're not always going after that. So keep that in mind. At T1, it gets pretty rough, but it is still pretty sharp. And the good thing is this thing is a boss in low light. It is literally like night vision if you're using the right camera with it. So that's a plus. Great in low light. You have tons of range there if you don't have a lot of lights or you're just shooting, you know, run and gun style or something like that. That being said though, it does clean up once you go up to T2.8. I never really shoot under 2.8 anyway. I never really have, even if I had the option, like other lenses that go to 1.8. You should be fine with just shooting at 2.8 to 5 or even higher if you need to. Okay, so the overall characteristics that I did like of these lenses is the flaring. When you hit it just right at the right angle, it gives a really nice, warm, overall kind of cast on the image, which can be really cool if that's what you're going for. I also think they're just clean, relatively sharp lenses, which is good if you're just going for a straight up look for interviews or things like that. And then as far as using them, they don't feel too heavy. They're not too big. I mean, they're all the same size, which is great for cine lenses as they should be. They feel really solid. The build quality is so good. They feel high end without the price tag, so that's really great. That's something I think is really, really nice if you're trying to get into the cine lens world and you kind of want to get into it softly. These would probably be the way to go. Things I don't like is that a lot of times I did get some ugly flaring, and under T2.8 it gets really rough, especially with the chromatic aberration, unless you're going for that ridiculous look. And then it has a little bit of focus breathing. They advertise it as not having like really any at all, which I don't even know if that's possible. You gotta expect a little bit for this price range, but I will say for this price, it is really solid. The focus breathing is not super noticeable, but in the grand scheme of things, you could probably get away with it. It's not like the worst I've seen. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. If you learned something or this video helped you out, give it a like. It really helps. I'm gonna get back to work so I can make more videos for you guys. See ya.